Have you ever wondered what misandry is? Misandry is the hatred of, contempt for, or prejudice against men or boys. It is the opposite of misogyny, which is the hatred of, contempt for, or prejudice against women or girls. Misandry can have a negative impact on men and society in a number of ways. For example, it can lead to discrimination, violence, and negative stereotypes about men and boys. In this video, we will discuss misandry in more detail, including its impact on men and society, its causes, and how to control it. This video is for anyone who wants to learn more about misandry and how to combat it. So, if you are interested in learning more about this important topic, please stay tuned.
What is misandry? Misandry is the hatred of, contempt for, or prejudice against men or boys. It is the opposite of misogyny, which is the hatred of, contempt for, or prejudice against women or girls. Impact of misandry on men and society and culture. Misandry can have a negative impact on men and society and culture in a number of ways. For example, it can lead to discrimination against men and boys. This can include discrimination in the workplace, the legal system, and other areas of life. For example, men may be less likely to be hired for certain jobs, or they may receive lower salaries than women for doing the same work. Violence against men and boys. This can include domestic violence, sexual assault, and other forms of violence. For example, men are more likely to be victims of homicide than women. Negative stereotypes about men and boys. These stereotypes can include the belief that all men are violent, aggressive, and sex-obsessed. These stereotypes can harm men and boys in a number of ways, such as making it difficult for them to form relationships or to succeed in school and in the workplace. Misandry can also have a negative impact on society and culture as a whole. It can lead to a more divided and less cohesive society. It can also make it more difficult to address important social problems, such as gender inequality and domestic violence. Is misandry harmful for men in society? Yes, misandry is harmful for men in society. It can lead to discrimination, violence, and other forms of harm against men and boys. It can also make it more difficult to address important social problems, such as gender inequality and domestic violence. Causes of misandry. There are a number of factors that can contribute to misandry. These include traditional gender roles. Traditional gender roles often portray men as being superior to women. This can lead to the belief that men are more deserving of respect and consideration than women. Sexist stereotypes. Sexist stereotypes about men and boys can also contribute to misandry. These stereotypes can include the belief that all men are violent, aggressive, and sex-obsessed. Personal experiences. Some people may develop misandry as a result of their own personal experiences with men. For example, a woman who has been abused by a man may come to view all men as being dangerous and untrustworthy. How to control misandry. There are a number of things that can be done to control misandry. These include educating people about misandry. It is important to educate people about misandry and the harm that it can cause. This can be done through public awareness campaigns, school programs, and other initiatives. Challenging sexist stereotypes. It is also important to challenge sexist stereotypes about men and boys. This can be done by speaking out against these stereotypes and by promoting positive images of men and boys. Supporting men's rights organizations. There are a number of men's rights organizations that are working to combat misandry. These organizations can be supported by donating to them, volunteering for them, and spreading the word about their work. Examples of misandry. Here are some examples of misandry. A teacher who gives lower grades to male students because she believes that boys are less intelligent than girls. A manager who passes over a qualified male employee for a promotion because she believes that women should be given priority. A judge who gives a harsher sentence to a male defendant than a female defendant for the same crime. A man who is denied custody of his children because the court believes that mothers are always better caregivers. A boy who is bullied at school for being perceived as feminine. A man who is raped by a woman but is reluctant to report the crime because he is afraid of being ridiculed or judged. Misandry is a serious problem that can have a negative impact on men and society.